All right. We're running just a tad late. We will call the January meeting of the Hartsville-Trousdale County Planning Commission to order. Amber's not here. Rosalie, would you call roll? Or who's not? You got it. Call it. Here. Okay, I think what, 2 absent? Oh, 1 absent. That's even better than I thought. All right, you have in your packet a copy of the minutes. If you haven't had a chance to already look at those, hopefully you have. See if there's any corrections or additions that need to be made. If not, I would accept a motion to approve.
I would like to make one correction. The addition of my name being present, I was present at the last meeting, and the correction of the spelling of my name on the last page.
Okay,
It's actually Dylan instead of Dixon.
yeah, you want to get credit for being here, yeah. Good catch. Any other corrections and or additions? Okay, hearing none, I would still accept a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Welch to approve. Do I have a second? Have a second by Mr. Thomas. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say no. We have passed our minutes unanimously. First item on business is a rezoning request. This is located at 4195 Highway 25 West, 1.7 acres. Owner would like to rezone it from C2 to R1. This is by Jerry and Mary Lynn Helm. And I know Mr. Jackie Dillahay's here to speak for the owners. Jackie, if you just come to the podium over there and push that little button and tell us what Mr. and Ms. Helm would like to do.
Well, it's the little house down there at the corner of Sulphur College and 25, and they're wanting to cut it off. They have a buyer for it.
That one, it's kind of like what we've done for other people, like cut off an acre for their kid or something like that. It's basically something like that.
So it's on now C2 and you're gonna do it.
It's C2 because, you know, it's right there on Highway 25 and it's inside the city limits. So all that property, but you know, there's still plenty of property in front of that for commercial because they're going to go in and do it kind of off of, what's that, Sulphur College? So the driveway would come off of Sulphur College and go into the house, not off of Highway 25. So it wouldn't affect any potential commercial venture that might go in there in the future. Am I right, Jackie?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I'm guessing that this was part of that state coming through and taking everything down 25 into commercial that we've had to rezone multiple lots for then?
I would imagine But I mean, as we all know, Highway 25 in the city limits,
Mhm.
right on the road is the best commercial property that we have at this time. And so the state just, I guess, in their infinite wisdom, did that for us. And that's why we've had to come back from time to time and clean that up. Yeah. Other discussion? Motions? Of course, you know, we have one of three, oh, that's right, I'll go, I'm sorry, Ms. Rosalie. We have one of three options. Option one is we can send this to the county commission with a favorable recommendation. We can send it to the county commission with an unfavorable recommendation, or we can send it to the county commission with no recommendation at all. Only the county commission can rezone property. Ms. Rosalie?
Thank you, sir. So in your packet, you will see the TN property viewer of where the house is actually located on this large parcel of land. And to answer your question, Mr. Thomas, this particular parcel has 114 acres attached to it. So that he wants to divide 1.7 plus or minus off of this one. I've also included the Rosalie zoning map for you that you can kind of look at with my colored pencil rendering of what is R1, what is R2. Now, this parcel of land here is at the very end of what is the urban service district. That C2 right there ends right at Sulphur College. It also ends across the street there. If you recall, we did have that one subdivision that was approved long, long ago that's never gone anywhere. Sewer also ends there. So you can see where the little circle is, that's exactly where they're wanting to do this. The rest of the parcel of land is zoned A1. Mr. Dillahay has included an exhibit of what the parcel may look like once everything is said and done. It's not going to be a nice little box, but it is going to be a little bit of an area there, and you can see that. Given all that information, you do see that just right across Sulphur College is R2 zone. Right across the street is R2. We've got R1 over there off of Crenshaw and Sulphur College. There's R1 also located along McMurray Boulevard there. There's 2 lots. And then there's other R2 pieces of property along this corridor, including an R3 section of land as well. What questions might you have so far?
You may have a question for Rosalie. I just want to admire her artwork. I hadn't seen that good a coloring since I taught elementary school. That's awesome. Stayed in the lines and everything.
It's also good for mental health.
I couldn't do it. No questions for Miss Rosalie? If not, then we'll go to Amanda.
All right, as Rosalie explained, the surrounding zonings in the area, the zoning designation appears to be appropriate compared to the other properties in the immediate and surrounding area. The minimum area per dwelling unit in the R1 is 12,000 square feet with the lot width at building setback as 100 feet. The front, side, and rear setbacks are 35 feet, 15 feet, and 25 feet respectively. And in light of all of that, staff recommends, or I recommend a positive recommendation to the county legislative body.
Any questions for Ms. Harrington? Discussion? Hearing none. Do I have any motions?
I'll make a motion to send to the county commission with a favorable approval.
Have a motion by Mr. Gregory to send it to the Trousdale County Commission with a favorable recommendation. Mr. Thomas? Second by Mr. Thomas. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say no. Does pass unanimously. And Ms. Rosalie, if I'm right, first reading on that, will that be the January meeting of the county commission?
Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie. Okay. Next on our agenda is a sketch plat request. This is on Highway 25 for a major subdivision of 8 lots by Hillview Farm. Some of you may remember that I'm one of the owners of Hillview Farm, thereby I will be what is it called? Recusing myself from any discussion or anything on this. So, Jim?
You did a good job, so it's already presented. They're looking at doing the next phase on Hillview Farms, which this is the section that fronts what we would call the new highway. Through a rezone request during the last few months to rezone this to get it into R2 all in one consolidated zoning, and also to annex it totally into the urban services district. So that's the piece of property that we're talking about, looking at putting in 11 lots right there on the corner of Cemetery and Harriet Lane, and be glad to answer any questions you might have there.
So this has already been rezoned.
Yes, sir. The rezoning is complete, and it's all R2 currently in the urban services district.
You know, I believe this may be some of the property some of the property, Mayor, that the Corps wanted years ago, put like a recreation area on or down near that way?
It's possible. It joins the core on the south side, so it could have been across the street possibly, but this does join the core land right there on the south side.
Yeah, I can see that. I didn't know how close it was to the water, but I just remember the Corps years and years ago, some kind of plan like that. Anybody have any questions for Jim about this sketch plat?
Jim, I see that you've got a utility easement in there and the water line stops before there. Is that?
Yeah,
before
now
that?
there's a good chance, I'm still checking with Mr. Crook on that. There's a good chance they're gonna have to extend a section of water line right there along Cemetery Street. I think he's thinking that the water line stops just before it gets to our property right there. So we possibly will have to extend a section right there to provide service on those, I don't know, 3 or 4 lots that are on Cemetery right there.
There's
We have
water down Harriet.
We have water all the way down Harriet, fire protection all the way down Harriet. And so everything's good on that section, but we may have to extend a short section right there to the rise right there to cover those 2 or 3 lots on Cemetery.
So I also see that you have a utility easement on the other side on Harrod Lane.
Okay, yes, to the best of my understanding from Mr. Crook, the sewer line stops where we've got it right there. Now, we are within distance allowed by the state to run a service line, so that's the purpose of that easement right there, is to run a service line from that last lot to the existing manhole that's out there.
Yes, sir.
Jim, on that water line on Cemetery, are y'all planning on putting a fire hydrant on that line also?
If we extend it, I would assume that we will be required to, but for coverage purposes, it is not necessary. There is a fire hydrant sitting just north of us at the cemetery right there. And so it covers the distance allowed in our books, but more than likely, if we extend it, that they're going to make us put another one at the end of it, at least a blow off of some kind.
More questions? Might have some after Ms. Rosalie. Ms. Rosalie?
So I remember when we were looking at this and evaluating it to annex it into the urban services, we were looking at the location of the fire hydrants. I know that there's one right there by the Gregory property, and then further on down, closer towards Dr. Miller's. And then on Herod Lane, I believe there's one over there close by. From what I can see and what we've talked about, this meets everything that we would look at during like a preliminary plat. And I know that Amanda has the checklist that she has and has an excellent staff report that she will be reviewing with us. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Mr. Thomas?
Rosalie, not seeing the topography of this, just having to remember what it looks like driving down Cemetery. Is there any water drainage issues that we need to be concerned about?
I don't recall how much slope that they have on there, but that is something that they will be bringing back during the preliminary plat and definitely before the final plat. Thank you for bringing that up.
Any more questions for Ms. Rosalie? Ms. Amanda?
All right, so again, a sketch plat review is conceptual only and does not confer development rights. The applicant has submitted a sketch plat that has 11 residential lots that all appear to meet the minimum R2 lot width, which is 75 feet, and lot area, which is 7,500 square feet. Each lot has frontage on an existing public road and no new streets or shared access drives appear to be proposed. The density appears consistent with R2 standards and the lot width and the area appear compliant. Final setback and building compliance will be verified at the preliminary and final plat and permitting stages. Items to be addressed at the final plat would include utility service confirmation, stormwater management, floodplain and Corps of Engineers compliance, and right-of-way verification. With all of that, staff recommends approval of the sketch plat. Subject to the following notes. Approval is conceptual only and does not authorize recording. Preliminary and final plat must be submitted and approved. All agency approvals shall be obtained and any floodplain or core related areas must receive appropriate authorization.
Any questions for Ms. Amanda? Discussion? Do I have a motion? Mr. Thomas?
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Have a motion by Mr. Thomas to approve. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Gregory. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say no. Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Ms. Rosalie, any report tonight on anything? I heard you at the end of the last meeting talk about all the building that's going on.
Yes, sir. We do have quite a bit of building going on as well as the gas pipeline. They're now starting to lay the pipe. You'll see various places where they are. I know I was on Oldham Road. They have a section there. They have it on Highway 25 going to the four-way stop. You'll see a nice landing pad there. And if you've traveled to Carthage, you'll see all the lovely green pipe there by the old racetrack. There's also a lot of that being stored as well over at PowerCom. And they're moving at a great clip. So blasting, we've talked about that last month. There's also blasting now going on when they're doing the pipeline replacement as well. It's a separate company, but they also have a blasting permit through the state, and they've given us that information as well. We still have the information in the office. If anybody is concerned or they're incurring any type of problems, please don't hesitate to call the office and we can get you hooked up with who you need to speak with.
Thank you. Ms. Amanda?
I will be holding a training session in Dixon on February 10th. You all are invited to attend. It's from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. on ethics and the Tennessee Open Meetings Act. So you all are invited to attend. There's going to be a light dinner served and you'll be able to meet some of my other communities and just get to talk with some other planning commission members and other BCA members. And we'd love to have you there.
Thank you. Mr. Thomas?
An update on the project to combine the urban and rural. We ran into some editing that we needed to take care of. I've met with Rosalie and Amanda and Rick. Those edits will be made, presented to building, codes and zoning, and then you guys will get the final, view of that. Hopefully, we'll be able to vote on that in February. Um, I'd like to have gotten it into the January meeting, but I don't know if we're gonna have enough time. So I am trying to get that through, but we want to make sure it's as in order as possible. Amanda found a lot of holes, which is what I was hoping when we got this project going. It would show some of our zoning holes that we can then fill in. We're not going to be making any of those changes in this particular stage. I promised all the commissioners we weren't going to be making any new laws. We were just combining the two and moving forward. But she has several notations of things that we need to be looking at. So codes and zoning will be taking those up once this is approved.
Thank you. I do believe this is one of the most important things that the county commission will have before them this year. You know, we've been Metro now for a long time. And this is kind of like bringing codes and zoning into Metro government, where you got one set of rules for the whole county and not a separate city and a separate county. So I hope our commissioners take note of the priority of that and vote it in. And as usual, they can, you know, go back and make changes and everything. I mean, they're the ones that set the rules, so that, you know, they can go back and edit, change, do whatever they want, but you got to have a past document before you can do that.
Also attached is going to be the new zoning of the PUD zoning. So will be added to our codes and zoning. So it'll be voted on all as one package.
Okay.
So that'll be for residential and residential commercial. So that'll actually tie as the training that they were going through BZA. Instead of having site plans and zoning, you'll be able to have a process to tie your zoning to a site plan. So I think that'll be very beneficial, to be able to nail down some developers. If this is what you say you want to do, well, then, all right, we'll let you do that. We can rezone for that reason, and kind of control some of the development that's going on in the county, instead of having some of these that just get open zoned, and we just get stuck with whatever someone wants to make a buck off of later.
So does anybody else have anything? Because I was just going to ask a question. Yes, ma'am.
And there's no charge to attend either.
So as most people who know me well know, I don't do much stuff like Facebook and what's that crap called, social media. I mean, they're lucky if I even turn my phone on, aren't they, Shutter? And but I had a buddy of mine tell me today, and y'all that are on stuff like that may be aware of this, that he said he saw it on Facebook, that there's a group that's wanting to slow down the growth of Trousdale County. Are y'all aware of that? I mean, I didn't know about it till today. I just wondered, what is it that what's their concern?
Well, I actually asked, what more can we do? We've already grossly increased the impact fee beyond telling a property owner, you can't sell your property. I don't know what else we can do.
Well, I remember that one of the things we did, and we did this years and years ago, which I think really helped Trousdale County be different from our surrounding counties, was we require 3-acre minimums in agricultural zoning. And I think that kept us becoming one of the trailer capitals of the state. And since house building has boomed, it's given more land available for that, which it wasn't already taken up with, you know, trailer, double wides and whatever. But yeah, I just was trying to get in my head what was, if it's traffic, I understand traffic, but that don't necessarily coincide with, with building houses, So.
From the comments that I read, main discussion point was they moved here to be into a rural area, and now we're getting all this development, and they're losing that rural feel, which, I mean, Lebanon is fighting to get their A1 raised up to a minimum of 1 acre. Here in Trousdale, with the smallest amount of acreage in any county in Tennessee, you've got a minimum of 3 acres for
Right.
agricultural. And like I said, besides keeping people from selling their own property, which I don't think we have a constitutional right to do so, I don't know what else the community thinks we should do. And I haven't heard any suggestions on that.
Well, I'm glad y'all are aware of it because, you know, as I said, it's
Well-
usually David and I are the last to know. And Shutter's usually one of the ones that lets me know stuff like that, although she slipped up on this one and I didn't know anything about it.
Well, I think too, some have called the office and have been asking a lot of questions. They are not aware of how robust our planning commission is and our board of zoning appeals. There is a process. They're thinking that things are just being approved and put out there, and we're not taking any consideration into our infrastructure. You know, is there water available? Is, you know, utilities available, things of that nature. And I invited them to come to the planning commission and start looking at the trainings that we held last year going forward and start learning about the rezoning process. It's just not everybody gets to get rezoned because we have turned people away. Some rezonings have not passed. So I just think it's not knowing what the process is and what is the state law concerning rezonings. How do we have that be advertised? 2 years ago, we voted to do the signs. Those have been pretty successful, albeit some of them did not make it back in one piece. They have been successful, and we do have to publish in the newspaper about a rezoning. And they saying, well, we should have it also posted in social media. Well, it's on our website as well, anytime that we have rezonings. I've brought additional planning and BZA calendars here that they could take, letting them know exactly when we meet. They had no idea when we met. Well, again, it's communication and looking and calling the office. And so I think it's just a process, and I think we are really making a difference, and it's a good start.
Was the group back here? I didn't know any of them. Were they maybe part of that? They were. Okay, it's fine. I'm glad they come to meetings and stuff like that. And I think actually, if they want to have a discussion about that, this year is a great time to do that. Every county commissioner is up for election. That's the time to voice your concerns. A lot of your big offices, you know, the mayor's office, the sheriff, and, you know, it's a good time to do that. I don't mind listening. If they're willing to work with us, that's fine. I'm not big on somebody moving in here and trying to tell me how they did it somewhere else, because I got to reply for that. They may not like.
There was one statement that was made that we were all making $80,000 a year, and I'd like to
Mayor?
Missing my paycheck.
from their post to the commission's ears.
Somebody owe me some dollars.
That was new to me too.
That kind of reminds me with the rock quarry. Somebody said that I'd gotten a new truck, and I said, I hope so. At that time, it was only 22 years old or something. You know, I need a new truck. Oh. Guys, anybody got anything else? Appreciate it. If you see stuff like that, invite them to the meeting. You know, that's what it's for.
Not concerning the commission, but Saturday, when a young man got shot in Nashville, doing community time, he was big time in community and helped.
Was this the young man from Fisk?
from Fisk.
Yeah. Wow.
Sunday, and he got shot on the way from that meeting. He was doing volunteer.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess it was just a random shooting. I mean, you just never know. It's so, you know. probably. And that's just a shame. A young man trying to do everything right and wrong place, wrong time, I guess. I really feel for his family and stuff. Well, you never know this day and age. Guys, want you to know I appreciate you. Appreciate your interest in the government. And if I have a motion to adjourn, I'll tell everybody, have a good night. Do I have a motion? Let's hear it. Do I have a, we are adjourned. Thank y'all.